And now he's got 1 minute. He's made 2 moves very quickly. So let's check in on his game. And yeah, this is kind of what we expected. So Jorden taking the opportunity to preserve his bishop, because bishop f4, he provokes a weakness and then swings the bishop to c7, where it can be anchored by the pawn on d6. And Vidit going king g7, solidifying his own pawns. Jorden swinging the rook to f1, queen e7, and then boom, bishop h5, forcing the rook out of e8. And now the queen is going to be the only piece that guards the knight. This is really dangerous. Vidit has 5 more moves to make simply on increment. It's so easy to blunder in a position like this. The engine doesn't think that he's in big trouble, but man, oh man, is he in trouble, practically speaking.
For sure, and this is such a big test for our co-leader Vidit here. It's not an easy, I mean, people at home might think 5 moves, that's not so many, but in this position, first of all, where does the rook go?
f8. I would say f8, but he's probably tempted by rook c8 too to attack the bishop. So see, that's another example. He's gone rook c8. And is that a decent move? Well, let's see if the engine, I mean, it loses d6, queen e6, and now, bishop f3. Bishop f3 is devastating. And why is it devastating? Because the knight has to move back. Well, why does it have to move back? Because if black plays bishop c6, white takes on e4 and then goes d7. But if the knight moves back, whoop, bishop comes to d5, and black can resign. Queen e5 is absolutely forced. And after the trade, the rook swings into f7. Rook takes d7 and bishop e6, and the game is over. Jorden van Foreest can win the game on the spot if he finds the move d6, followed by bishop f3 to d5. That is not an easy maneuver, but guess what, Fiona? His time management has been amazing, and I think this is where it's going to come in.
I mean, I have to admit, Dania, the speed at which you were running through all these winning lines, my brain was exploding here. It's a good thing we were off camera, because my face kept inching closer and closer to the board, like, what? What? And
Jorden sees it.
Oh my goodness. D6 is already on the board. Queen e6 appearing instantly, and
bishop f3, there it is. Look at that. He's a beast. I mean, he didn't even take. And you know, you might ask, well, why is he rushing? First of all, Vidit has a minute, but this is an easy line to calculate. Once you see bishop f3, that's it. That's the hard part. There are different types of tactics. Some are easy to see and hard to calculate. Some are hard to see and easy to calculate. This is the second type of tactic. Once you see it, it's all over. Vidit is going to play knight c5, bishop d5, and he's going to resign, I think, at the end of that sequence. I think we're going to see rook takes d7 on the board, and Vidit will resign.
And this is such a tough spot, because clearly Vidit didn't see this coming when playing rook c8, and it all happened so quickly. Now he only has 30 seconds on the clock. And only bad moves, unfortunately. There is no good move in this position. Knight c4 is the move he has chosen, and Jorden's just blitzing everything out. Bishop
He's blitzing
e5.
it out. And here's the thing. If the rook had been on f8 in this position, black would have been able to tuck the queen back on e8. That's the whole point. Here, the queen has to anchor itself to the pawn, and so queen e5 is forced. And we're seeing all of that on the board. Queen e5 is going to be played. Jorden's going to take that immediately and then play rook f7 and rook takes d7 and end the game.
I mean, that was what a turnaround. And for Vidit, he started brilliantly. We see Jorden just steadying his nerves before the final assault here. I think he's already seen the winning continuation, but he has plenty of time on the clock. And there he goes. The queens are off the board. And this is move 40, but it's not going to help with it.
Nope. You can have all the time in the world, but if Jorden plays, rook f7 check. And it's all over. And this rook takes d7 idea, Fiona, without that idea, black would have been fine here. But it's not a coincidence. White is so active and has been really the whole game that it's totally natural that a tactic like that exists. Rook takes d7, and I can guarantee you that Vidit is going to resign after that.
Yeah, and what a comeback, first of all, from Jorden after losing a tough game yesterday to Sergei Karyakin. For Vidit, it's a tough loss. He's been doing so well here, undefeated, but the first loss is coming up here as Jorden has captured on d7, and there is just nothing, no tricks here for black, and we see Vidit there shaking his head, and he knows this one is gone.
Yeah, and definitely the time situation hurt him tremendously. It hurt him in terms of making a proper decision after f4, before f4. You know, he took a lot of time, and he found a way to worm out of that trouble that he was in the opening. That was really impressive, but that's what often happens. You do that, and guess what? Then you have a whole middle game to play, and you've got 15 minutes on your clock.
Yeah, and well, we see here the finishing touches. Bishop e6 has just appeared on the board, and there was just nothing. I think you predicted a resignation at the end of the sequence. There was just simply no move here for Vidit.
No, the knight can't move. Rook takes c7, pawn takes, and the pawn will promote. Otherwise, the bishop takes the knight, moves away from d7, and the red carpet is unrolled. You can just play d7 and d8. Vidit thinking about where it is that he went wrong. The decisive mistake was rook f8, was playing rook c8, but I think that practically speaking, the position was tremendously difficult to defend.
Yeah, and well, I'm curious. I'm sure we'll hear from Jorden after the game. But with Mamedyarov having drawn his game, Vidit about to lose, a certain Magnus Carlsen will have to go back to his game, but he might just, and there is the resignation.
There it is.
And well, great job by Jorden van Foreest. For Vidit, a tough loss, as we see the players here discussing the game.